All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Own Your Dreams podcast. And today I have with me the 8-week transformation challenge winner, Francisco Soto. What's going on, brother? Thank you for joining us.
What's going on, Jason? Happy to be here, brother.
Thank you, man. How do you feel?
I feel great, man. This is the best I've felt in like at least the last 10 years. Best I've looked in the last 10 years. So this is definitely the momentum I needed to get back on track.
No, that's awesome, man. Well, first and foremost, let's start off with the reward that we actually promised here. So, as I've mentioned online, this Ninja Creamy, this has probably been one of my favorite investments that I've personally bought as far as things that help me satisfy my sweet tooth, satisfy my craving. So I think you'll definitely enjoy this just as much. I think you were saying that your kids have been YouTubing it, Googling it, and I think that they'll probably enjoy it a little bit more than you. Hopefully they don't break it on you. So make sure you show them how to use that. Yeah. So there's that. My favorite protein as of lately, I just recently came across this protein powder, this brand AW Performance. Never seen it till recently, but one thing that kind of caught my attention was that Chiquita logo right there, which is the Mexican fruit brand.
Yeah.
They say that, I was watching this video the other day, and they say that a lot of brands are collabing with other brands that people are already familiar with, and for that reason, it's been skyrocketing sales. And honestly, that's what got me. I tried it, and I loved it, so I think you'll love it just as much as I did. And last but not least, we said $1,000, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. $1,000, brother. So
Thank you.
way to bet on yourself and turn 250, not just to the reward here, but also to a transformation. And I hope that you kind of pick some things up as far as maybe on some systems that have really helped me and have been valuable to me. Hopefully you took some takeaways from that as well.
Yeah, no, I did, brother. The rewards, I mean, I'll take them with open hands. Thank you so much for that. But I mean, I think the real reward was just getting back on track. You know, learning how to eat right and what workout plan works for me and what it takes to lose weight and be as healthy as I can be.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear that, man. I mean, what was your lifestyle, or what was your day to day like? Let's say before the challenge, because you said this is the best you felt in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So what was it like before the challenge? I guess you can say.
So before, I mean, I would always work out. You know, I love working out. I've worked out for a long time, but I didn't know what to eat, or I would eat healthy for a couple of days and then I would fall off the wagon, or I would go on these bingers where I would drink 2 days in a row, and I'm not talking about just 1 or 2 beers. I'm talking about like maybe like a 6-pack to a 12-pack.
By yourself?
No, with my buddies.
Okay.
And so I was drinking a lot. Another thing that helped me too is I didn't drink this entire time when I was doing the challenge. So I noticed that was like a game changer too.
Yeah. So you just cut alcohol out cold turkey.
Yeah.
What'd your buddies tell you about it?
Yeah, they were. I mean, that was really hard. We had a lot of trips planned already before I even accepted the challenge. So I went camping with my cousins. That was super hard. I went to a couple of social events with my close friends and cousins, and that was super hard. Not to drink. And Avery's turned up and telling me to drink, take shots, and I'm just like, hey, I want to so bad. Like I really want to.
Yeah.
And but no, bro, to go home and go to sleep.
Yeah, no, props, man, because when that social pressure kicks in, like you said, it is hard. You kind of just you don't want to be the party pooper in a way. Yeah. I don't know what that may feel like to you, but you don't want to be the one that's like kind of just turning everybody down.
Yeah.
You just have this. Oh no, everything that comes out of your mouth is almost like a no.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, this guy, let's not invite him next time or something.
And I feel like that's what it was, bro. I mean, no cake, no drinking, no bread. I stuck to the meals, and I'm just like, man, it's no fun, but it's fun getting the results. Like this is the price you have to pay to become fit. Especially when you fell off the wagon so bad. I was just the worst I've ever been. So heavy, so sluggish, mentally fogged. Everything.
Damn. I mean, what do you think that kind of made you, like you said, get to, from what you just said, like the worst that you've ever been? Like, was it the lack of structure? Was it the company that you kept around you? I mean, what do you think kind of made you, I guess, fall so off track?
I think you just become comfortable, with your life. You have a family, you have kids, and they make you happy. You're making. I think another really big thing is money. Like once you start making good money, you feel like you find value in that over everything else. So you say, yeah, I'm fat, but I got money, or I'm making money, So, so you're making that as an excuse. So you're like, okay, I compensate being fat and overweight with making good money every month, you know. So that's what I feel like that for the longest time that was me. You know, I'll go out, buy bottles at the club, spend money on alcohol. It's now and I wouldn't care, and I was like, I'm fat, but I mean, I'm still having a good time, you know. So I don't care.
I've never heard of that. I mean, I've thought that sometimes that's the way people sometimes think about it and justify their weight, but I mean, I guess you just said it right there yourself. Like, man, hey, I'm fat, but I got money.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. So, last 10 years, that's kind of the way your life was kind of going. So, what made 8 weeks ago that time of, you know what, I want to make the change. I'm going to go ahead and commit and not just stick it out, but ultimately win over, I would say, some pretty impressive transformations. Obviously, yours was crazy as well, but everybody was just dialed in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what really gave you that kick to say, hey, you know what, this stops here?
Yeah, I think it was just time for me that I just said, that's exactly, this stops here, and I'm ready to do whatever it takes. You know, I signed up for the challenge, and I had to pay the $250, and I was like, I'm not gonna lose this $250. You know, even if it was, I was like, I'm not gonna lose this. I'm gonna win this challenge, and I used that as motivation at first. But then just waking up every day and then seeing the look on my kid's face of me just being consistent with something, you know, they motivated me a lot to just stay on track. And then you start looking. You can't hide from yourself. You know, when you get out of the shower and you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, fuck, bro. Like,
yeah,
this is getting pretty bad. And then you just go to sleep. You forget. The next day you reset. But I feel like eventually I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. You know, like I'm not gonna die not knowing what it feels like to be consistent and to be disciplined and to stay on track with something that I want to do. I've always wanted to do this. I just never did it. You know, I just found an excuse or a reason not to do it.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, eventually you got to face that guy in the mirror. I mean, you can shower with the lights off, I guess you can say. You can take off all the mirrors from your house and never see yourself again that way. But then sometimes the FaceTime calls might come up, and then you got to see yourself there. So eventually you got to, you got to confront that guy in the mirror. Ultimately, like you said, I mean, regardless of the money, regardless of any other things, ultimately, I think one thing that we cannot hide from ourselves is our true selves, the habits that we go from day to day. But no, man, I mean, props for making the hell of the progress throughout this challenge. I mean, you dropped a total of 19, 20 pounds throughout the 8 weeks.
So now, I mean, I just weighed myself a couple of days ago, and now I'm down 30 pounds. So I started off at 277, and then a couple of days ago, I just weighed in at 247. Bro,
that's honestly life changing. Somebody could say that's life changing. I mean, just that huge, jump there. I'm sure you're gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned on the phone the other day that you actually feel so good you're gonna jump into a what, 7K?
8K.
8K. How much miles is that?
It's like about almost 5 miles.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah. First, I was like, my brother-in-law he told me about it a while ago, and I was like, nah, man, I'm not gonna run. You know, I'm way too heavy. My knees are gonna hurt, my ankles. But then as I started progressing, I was like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And then we started adding that cardio. And then I started getting a hold of my breathing and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. You know, and I texted him. I'm like, yeah, send me the link, bro. I'm going to sign up right now.
You already signed up?
I already signed up. It's Sunday.
Oh, snap. Okay. Can you do it nonstop, you think?
Yeah. Well, the other day I ran the marina just to kind of gauge myself where I'm at.
Yeah.
Bro, that's probably the first time I've ran like that in 10 years, you know?
That's insane, man. That's crazy.
So I was like, I just got to get out there and just run. And I was like, I'm just going to stretch a little bit and just take off and just see how far I can go. And I ran the marina twice, which is like 3.5 miles, and I did it in 35 minutes. Damn. I was like, that's not that bad, bro. That's not that bad.
No, it's not. You probably feel like you're on cloud 9 right now.
Oh, yeah, man. I feel like I can do anything, honestly.
Honestly, I truly think that we, not just to say it just because it's cliche to say it, but I truly think that we can do anything we put our minds to, honestly. So that's awesome that you feel like that. I feel like we should all kind of be operating from that mindset as much as possible. Obviously, as humans, we all have doubts, but if we can try to keep that mindset or that momentum going as much as possible, can you imagine how much things we would actually accomplish in life rather than getting into habits that don't necessarily complement that? And for that same reason, it affects everything that we take on or we don't take on because our mindset's not really backing us up. It's not really an empowered mindset because of the habits or just ultimately our self-esteem, which I would say reflects from our habits, from our alignment of who we say we are, right? Like I've said before, I've always said this in the past, everybody wants to look the part, but nobody wants to be the part. Yeah. On social media, everybody's posting these things, man. Everybody's posting that they're eating clean. Here's a gym pic. Nothing's changing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, what's really going on behind the screen? Like, nobody's actually being the part. Yeah. It's not a matter of putting up this facade. It's a matter of what you do day to day when nobody's watching. Behind the screen, well, that's what ultimately matters. And then obviously the screen may reflect on what's actually been taking place on the back end. But With that said, I mean, what does your day to day routine normally look like? What was your day to day routine here throughout this challenge? Like
So
family and all, kids and all, work and all.
so I would wake up at 5 o'clock, go to the gym. After the gym, I'd come home. I would change real quick. I'd pick up my son, take him to school. Right after that, I would go to work. Usually I work from 12, 13-hour days. So I would go in at 8, get off at 8. And then after that, after I got home from work, I would go on a walk. And I would just every single day for the last 8 weeks.
Okay.
Staying clean, eating clean, staying on track. The weekends would be the hardest parts, because my kids are used to us going out to eat every single weekend. So now this time we wouldn't go out to eat as much, or we'd go out to eat, but it would be like places they don't like to go out to eat.
Yeah.
So that was the hardest part for them too. They're just like, damn, this is weird. No, we wouldn't eat no pizza. We wouldn't eat stuff that we normally would get. And but it was all worth it, I think.
Yeah, and I'm sure ultimately, I mean, they may not enjoy wherever you may have been going that you guys weren't used to, over the pizza, but it's just I would assume it's a lot better for them, right?
Yeah.
Health wise, it's at least them knowing why am I eating this is a reason why I'm eating these things. So I mean, what kind of places would you guys go to on the weekends?
So usually, I mean, we would eat pizza a lot, bro. That's our favorite food. So we would eat pizza sometimes like 2 times a week before.
What's the favorite pizza?
We go Semenza's. Go to Semenza's.
I never heard that place, man.
It's on your road. That's a little sleeper spot right there.
I'll have to check them out.
Go to Semenza's was good, and then we eat Boulevard Pizza a lot, and then we get Pizza Plus, of course. So
yeah.
We'll switch it up. Even Longboards up there instead. We'd go up there a lot often too. Just pizza, bro. Really, any pizza was okay with us.
Damn, that's funny because every time I've helped somebody in the past and somebody wants a cheat meal, I'm like, go for a burger, go for sushi. Last thing you want is a pizza. All fats and carbs, man. I'm like, maybe you'll get a little protein from the pepperoni, if that, but it's all fats and carbs. I'm like, stay away from the pizza. Like, there's not too much that's beneficial in there, but pizza's good. I agree.
Fuck, I love pizza, bro. I mean, that's what I think once I'm not going to have no cheat meals until this Saturday, but this Saturday for sure I'm having pizza, bro. I got to have at least one time, and then that's it. I'm good for a little bit.
Hey, everything's right. All right, so Francisco, I mean, you said that you've had the question of, how do I go about making these changes when you see somebody online? I mean, you always see some people make transformations. You just don't know exactly where to start. Maybe we sometimes tend to overthink with the overload of information that there is out there. So there's somebody that may be watching that is in those exact same shoes. What would you say was the system or the routine, or how simple is it for somebody to just do what you have done here in the last 8 weeks? What would you recommend them?
I think the biggest thing I can recommend is just starting. I think people try to plan it, the conditions to be perfect. The meal preps to be perfect. No events. You need the right workout clothes. You need the right workout shoes. But I mean, really, the secret is just starting. Just starting and slow and steady, and then eventually you'll find out what works and what doesn't work, and then you'll get to where you want to get to.
Yeah, and then like you said, I mean, just kind of going. Playing it by ear and just kind of figuring it out as you go, right? You try something, you kind of go back to the drawing board. This worked, this didn't work, so let me take out what didn't work and plug in maybe this, give this a shot. And ultimately you start kind of shaping whatever works for you best that way, right?
Yeah.
So, no, I agree. I mean, 3 big things that you can maybe recommend for somebody to just really prioritize in order for them to maybe start implementing in their lives that would really help them maybe, let's say drop 20 pounds in 8 weeks or so.
I think the biggest things is walk 10,000 steps. I think that really helped me as long as I kept that goal in mind every single day. Be on a little bit of a calorie deficit. I mean, you will feel hungry, but as long as you get the right foods in you, then you'll stop feeling hungry. You'll eat more protein, cut out the carbs a little bit more, and then have more protein. And the protein helps me actually stay full throughout the day. That really helps. And then just stay consistent with your workouts. Just work out every single day and make sure I'm a big believer of the mind to muscle connection. So whenever you got the mind to muscle connection, you can work out for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but if that connection's there, that's all you need.
Yeah, it's more of exactly what you make out of that 30, 40 minutes in the gym, right? Yeah. Sometimes people are in there thinking that they have to be in there for 2-3 hours.
Exactly.
But you can get just as good of a workout, if not even better, like you said, if you got a good mind-muscle connection or just keeping the intensity in there, right?
I agree.
What kind of split would you say somebody would have to use or kind of worked for you that maybe somebody can start implementing too?
So usually I would do on Mondays I do chest, and then Tuesdays I do back, and then Wednesdays I would do shoulders, and then Fridays I would do, or Thursday I would do arms, and then Fridays are leg days, and then Saturday would be like an active rest day. Well, those are actually my favorite days.
Yeah,
because you still go to the
like
gym.
a free day.
Yeah,
Yeah, same
like
here.
Whatever you feel like you're missing, like if you want to do a little bit of abs, and then a little bit of arms, and then a little bit of chest, and that day you just go have fun kind of day.
Have fun at the gym on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, most of these people can't even get in there. Well, not most of these people, but most people that are kind of trying to get some of these takeaways, they maybe have a hard time even getting in there on their Monday, on a Tuesday. So you're saying that eventually it gets to a point where you kind of start having fun with it?
Yeah.
What the hell?
And you get to the point, bro, where you find satisfaction in just knowing that nobody else is doing it,
Yeah.
Like, that nobody's at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, or nobody's at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Everybody's hungover, everybody's tired, everybody's sleeping in, but you're there, and then you keep taking those actions. It just puts you one little step ahead, and then one little step ahead, one little step ahead. It gets to a point where nobody can catch you, and you think, I think as long as you think with that mindset, it's gonna work no matter what. So,
yeah, that's a competitive mindset. It looks like you were applying, and hey, you came out on top because of it. So you're definitely, nobody did catch you. So it worked out for you, man. That's awesome. But we're talking a little bit earlier. I don't know if I've got it on camera or not, but we're talking about conscious decisions. I'm not sure, but just in case, I'm going to go ahead and just retouch on that because that's something that I think is very, very important. I mean, would you say you had to be a lot more conscious throughout your day on the things that you're eating, the times that you're going to sleep, the times that you're waking up? I mean, kind of touch on that as far as like conscious decisions in comparison to maybe sometimes just letting our minds take us wherever it wants, or our emotions kind of drive us wherever we may be feeling kind of wants to do with us.
Yeah, like when it would be difficult when you can go out to eat somewhere and you're making a conscious decision on what you have to eat when everything in front of you looks so tempting, or going to places where you're gonna not go work out the next day, or stay up late and not getting your sleep, or you're gonna drink something besides water and it's gonna mess up your entire routine. You're just thinking the entire time, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna stay here. I'd rather just stay sharp than go back to my old habits and do the things that I used to do.
Yeah, no, I think like I said before, I think it's just the opportunity to practice keeping our mind sharp with every conscious decision we make. I think is ultimately the biggest win is, and that's the way I've always kind of seen any kind of difficulty, any fork in the road is this is a perfect opportunity for me to go ahead and just keep that part of my mind sharp. And like I said it before, I mean, ultimately it carries on to, the next decision, whether if it's in business or in relationships, or, going to sleep early or reading when I don't really want to. It's just my mind's, I'd like to think that it's built up enough to where even though I don't want to, that part of my mind, the conscious part of my mind, can still override anything else I may be feeling. If I don't want to do it, that part of my mind is so strengthened because I've been staying on top of it as best as I can, to where, as long as I lead with that, I'm good. And as long as I try to keep strengthening that every single day, I don't see why it would stop. God forbid, of course, And as long as I got the health, the ability to wake up, to move, to make conscious decisions, to think for myself, I will stay on top of that as best as I can. And it's just, I think, one of the most empowering feelings that we can experience, is because that's ultimately us making our decisions,
Yeah. And I feel like you're right, bro. I think that's how making those decisions is how you find your other self too. Like in Relentless, the book by Tim Grover, he talks about just doing the things over and over again, and then you find your other self. And your other self is the person that deep down in your head, who you're supposed to become, and things that you're supposed to be doing. Everybody knows, bro. Everybody knows what they have to do, what they have to eat, who not to hang out with, where to stay away from. But it's just so much fun in their head, They just rather, they take the instant gratification instead of saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to come do my own thing for a little bit. I think it's hard to stay away from that for most people.
It's that temporary fun, but I mean, it's funny though, because a lot of times I've had conversations with a lot of people that have been trying to make these changes in their lives, and a lot of times they'll tell me the same thing, like, I need to stop doing this. These exact same things that you're mentioning here, those are the same things that they'll go ahead and say, I need to stop doing this, I need to stop doing that, I need to stop drinking, I need to stop staying up late, and they'll keep doing it for months, for years. But I mean, they're aware of it, at least when they're a little bit more conscious, when they start reflecting a little bit more. And I would argue a lot of times it kind of just gets put on the back burner because they suppress that thought, at least that ability to be conscious of are aware of these things that they want to make a change on by indulging all these habits, drinking, maybe sometimes eating certain foods. You get so carried away about how good this damn food is to where it just kind of suppresses it for the moment, and then it hits you at the end of the night. Like you said, you go to the mirror, you're brushing your teeth, you take off your shirt. God damn. God. There's your reminder right there. Times 10, man. Yeah. And next thing you know, it's like it just gets heavy. And maybe, I don't know, maybe people get to a point where they kind of feel like they lose hope. Yeah. Maybe.
And I feel like they just feel lost. I feel like me myself, bro. I mean, I just feel like for the longest time I would feel lost, and I would find whatever I can find to bring me comfort, whether that was, drinking, whether that was hanging out with the people I'm not supposed to hang around with, whether that was doing things I'm not supposed to be doing, slacking off, not working out, whatever I thought was going to bring me comfort, I would just do it. I wouldn't care about the consequences at that moment. I would just go.
Just whatever gets rid of this uncomfortable feeling, exactly. Even if it's momentarily.
Exactly.
I might have to deal with it later. I'll kick the can down the road, but at least we'll be gone for these next 5-6 hours.
Exactly.
For tonight.
I don't have to deal with it right now. I'm gonna move this way. I'm not gonna take care of it. I'm gonna move this way. It's like seeing something on the ground that you don't want to pick up. You keep walking around it instead of just picking it up.
When you put it that way, it sounds super simple. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. You're not picking up the shit that's right in front of you, man.
And when it's so easy, you just have to bend over, grab it, put it away, and move on with your day. And just everything is. This entire challenge, just like I said, just made me realize how easy everything can be. You just have to do it.
Yeah. Like Nike has a perfect model for that, right?
Yeah.
It's literally that simple. It may not be easy, but it's that simple. We just like to overcomplicate things. We were having a conversation earlier, which once again, we had to kind of stop the camera. Well, we didn't stop the camera. The camera stopped itself because my memory slot was full. Again, I'm not a tech guy, so you guys please forgive me on that. But we touched on this topic specifically, which I thought was really good. But just in case we didn't get it, we were talking about you're reading this book called Art of War, right? What are the big takeaways that you kind of maybe can relate to the way you've been going about these last couple weeks from what that book's been talking about?
That book talks a lot about calculated moves, just being conscious in everything you're doing and seeing obstacles that are coming in front of you and just preparing yourself for it. That really helped me when I knew I had a trip coming, or I knew I was going to be in a social environment. It would help me stay focused, and I knew it was coming, and I knew how hard it was going to be, but I was just locked in, and just to say no, and I was going to be the boring guy at the party, and just becoming that boring guy mentally before I'm even in that situation. That's what that book really has helped me become so far.
Yeah, I like that, and that kind of ties in with the ability to be conscious, not just conscious in the moment, but conscious enough of what you might have to deal with, this upcoming weekend or the next weekend. I've always liked to say too, like, usually when you screw up, it doesn't happen when you screw up exactly. You usually screw up, at least speaking for myself, I usually screw up when I'm at the grocery store and I get a box of something I shouldn't be getting. That's when I fucked up. Yeah. It's not when I dig into the pantry. I fucked up a long time ago. Yeah. If I got a meeting here to go to today, and for whatever reason I'm kind of scrambling last minute, I didn't fuck up then and there. I fucked up last night or yesterday morning when I should have been preparing for this exact moment, like you said. Yeah. Being able to foresee, I need to have this ready, I need to have this in line, I might deal with this challenge here or this temptation, so let me best prepare myself to whenever I do encounter this, because it is coming, I can navigate through it as best as I can and still come out on top or still come out of line with what it is exactly that my objective may be. Yeah. I like that book. I like that, what you took away from that book. I think I might have been getting confused from one of Robert Greene's books. It was I think 48 Laws of Power, and it talks about declaring war on yourself every single day. And there's two versions of us. I think you mentioned that, it's when you find your other self, but that other self that you were not referring to is, for lack of a better term, is the bitch version of ourselves. Yeah. The one that caves into all temptations, the one that kind of just likes to just feel good in the moment, and ultimately, the best way to put it, it's just ultimately weakness. It's weakness, and it's the lack of accountability within ourselves, and just saying, oh, well, I felt this, so that's why I did it. And that's why you blame it, just because this made me feel like this, so I dove into it. Napoleon Hill says, one of his book, Outwitting the Devil, says that the three hardest things for us to control is the things that we eat, our sexual emotion, and the last but not least is the things that come out of our mouths without us actually thinking it through before we say it. And I would definitely agree. As far as like the food aspect, I still struggle with a lot of that to this day. That's why I try to be as disciplined as I can, because I know how how dangerous, I guess you can call it, an opponent, because I'm battling this shit every single day. So I try to keep my foot on this neck as best I can, because the moment I start slipping a little bit, it's a slippery slope. And next thing you know, this guy's got his foot on my neck.
Yeah.
I'm 5,000 calories in. I'm like, damn, man, and I lost.
Yeah.
And I feel weak.
Yeah.
I feel weak. I literally let this piece of bread get the best of me. It's insane. And that's just obviously bread. We can go ahead and talk about all types of other vices that could be even worse extremes. And that's where it can get really scary, is when we don't have the mental willpower, the mental strength to come out on top with all these things that we may battle with on day to day.
I agree, bro. I mean, I think I heard E.T. Thomas, you know who that is?
Yeah.
He was saying you get mad at other people for not following through with what they tell you, but you don't get mad at yourself for not following through with what you tell yourself. So when that's a really good statement there, because you're right, bro. If somebody tells you they're gonna bring you $100, right, and they don't do it, you're mad at them. You're mad at them that they didn't give you your money, and they know that you need the money, and or whatever the case may be. But when you do the same to yourself, when you say, "Oh, I'm gonna go work on my day off," or "I'm gonna go put in the extra hours," or "I'm gonna make the extra phone calls," and you don't do it, you don't hold yourself to the same standard you hold other people in that aspect.
Yeah, it's crazy. And usually I would say, I think it's best to go about it the opposite way, kind of be a little bit more patient with others, and just have the highest expectations of ourselves. Because ultimately, I mean, that is the only thing we have control over is ourselves. If we practice it enough, because I would argue the majority of people do not have control over themselves.
Yeah.
Food does.
Yeah.
Whatever the vices do, whatever the temptations do, because they have allowed it, unfortunately. And that power is within them. They just have to tap into it, just to go the same way you have these last 8 weeks.
Yeah. You just keep making excuses. You keep making, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it later, or I'm too busy, or I got too much stuff going on. You find every excuse in the world except you need a reason just to keep going. You just got to do it. Like
you said earlier, you said, I'm going to lock in this upcoming Monday, and then something comes up on Saturday, and then, no, next week's for sure. You said, for the last 10 years, this has been going on. I mean, 52 times 10, that's been going on for, 520 weeks.
Yeah.
520 weeks next week. And something comes up. Well, yeah, that's life. Life has a lot of things that constantly are coming up. And I like that you highlight that, because people are always waiting for the perfect conditions. But at the end of the day, it's not a matter of having the perfect conditions. It's, once again, it's the ability to control yourself regardless of the conditions. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations in the past. Somebody's going to do something that, the way they phrase it, and I think words have power. They say, well, that's a plan, but, as long as nothing comes up, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't say it out loud. And, if the shoe may fit, I guess lace that bitch up. But in my head, this guy's not fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Just the way he put it out, he's not doing it, man. Of course things are going to come up. I had some shit come up today. I had some shit come up yesterday, the before that. Still stayed on top of my meals, stayed on top of my training. And not that that's everything, but what I'm trying to say is, if I have an objective, you should anticipate for things to come up. Going back to the art of war, things are going to come up. So what can I do to best put myself in a position to where, regardless of things coming up, my systems are straight? That's why I like to overly simplify things, I don't know if that may have helped you. Did you keep your meals pretty simple, or were you kind of?
I mean, the meal plan was great. It's super simple. It seems like too easy. Like this, there has to be I'm not hitting my protein, or there has to be a protein shake in here, or something that that he's eating that he's not telling me that is not going to get me. Like a secret. There's no secret. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, it's just. I mean, there's too many testimonies out there for you to argue it. At the end of the day, it's not your genetics, it's not your hormones, your thyroid. The way a lot of people. My mom was just. I picked up my mom from the airport here earlier today, and she says it's her hormones that And God bless my mom. My mom's an angel, but I love my mom, but she tells me it's her hormones. I'm like, Mom, that's like. I try to tell her in the most loving way possible. Like, Mom, that's your limiting belief, literally holding you back. It's not your hormones. All of a sudden, 50 years later, it's just a hormone thing, huh? But
and I have people like that too, bro. And they almost convince me that they're right, bro. They're like, damn, bro, you're right on. Let's go to the doctor. There's nothing wrong with you. And then I start thinking, I'm like, wait, there's nothing wrong with this person. This person has not stayed consistent. They have not put the effort. They're just missing so many things to say, oh yeah, you're right. It's your thyroid, or it's something else.
And that's what today's world like almost has cultivated people's minds to do is just blame everything but themselves.
Yeah.
Point the finger, never take any kind of accountability. I was just talking to my buddies the other day. I was talking about ADHD and how that's something that's very commonly thrown around super easily. And the thought kind of came to my mind. I was having a conversation with some buddies. They were talking about some kind of sport. I don't watch sports at all. Kind of weird. Nobody ever like really sees that come. Like, you don't watch sports? What do you do? I'm like, the fuck are you doing with your time? You know, they act like I'm the weird one for not watching sports. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to be over here saying I'm winning when I got other things to do. That's them winning. They're winning millions of dollars. I'm over here broke. You know, playing playing with my jersey on, playing from the couch.
Yeah.
But they were talking about sports, and ultimately, I was having a really hard time staying engaged with what they were saying. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have as soon as I get the opportunity to get the hell out of here. As soon as somebody stops talking, I'm like, hey, you guys, I'm out of here. You know, I just don't really care for this conversation. And in my head, I'm like, was I having trouble paying attention because I have maybe ADHD? I'm like, no, I'm just not interested in that topic specifically. And, you know, when you really put it in perspective, I mean, how many times has somebody been labeled to have ADHD because they're not interested in a specific topic? You go ahead and talk to me about exactly what we're talking about today. I'm fully engaged. I'm fully present.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. I love self-development. I love fitness. I just love overall self-improvement. I'm all ears is what I'm trying to say. I think it's more the matter of the topic. And ultimately, like I said, I mean, just a matter of exercising that part of our brain, I think, because, I mean, what do we do on a day-to-day basis? We're not really, like, focus is something you can strengthen just like, you know, you strengthen muscles in the gym. What are we doing every day when like you said, we're death scrolling, you know? Yeah. Is that improving our focus? No, I mean, like you said, reading a book sometimes, like that's sometimes hard for, I don't know about you, but for me to read a couple pages because my focus is not maybe as developed as I would like it to be.
Yeah.
But that's why I got to try to do it more.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is I haven't put in the effort to strengthen that part of my focus. And maybe I'm not interested in specific topics. So instead of being so quick to throw, I got ADHD, why don't I maybe think things through a little bit more? And instead of limiting myself by labeling myself as somebody with ADHD, let me try to first strengthen my focus and maybe be more engaged with things that I'm actually interested in, and then go ahead and pinpoint if I have ADHD or not.
I agree.
But same thing, like I guess I kind of went off a little off topic, but that was kind of going back off to the thyroid thing. Let me try eating clean. Let me try cutting back all this stuff. Let me try taking accountability, and then see if I got a thyroid problem.
Yeah.
Instead of giving up your power to this thing that who knows what put this idea in your brain.
Yeah.
Way to just completely dismiss accountability and let somebody else have basically control over your life to an extent.
And it sounds like a good excuse, bro. I mean, a lot of people use like when you use, you know, hormones or thyroid or whatever the reason may be. You're like, oh yeah, that sounds valid, you know. Like I don't got that, but maybe you got that, so that's why there's something wrong with you.
It sounds maybe it sounds valid to them, but maybe you care about the result more than the comfort.
Yeah.
So if you really want the result instead of the comfort, to me it sounds like I'm shooting myself in the foot.
Yeah.
Why would I buy it? Even if I did have it, I'm gonna convince myself that I don't. You know, I'm gonna act like as if I don't. I don't care what people say. I'm gonna keep going as if I don't have it.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I think that's the best thing we can do with anything in our life. Just take the reins of whatever you're dealt and just make the best of it.
I agree.
Quit playing the victim, you know. But yeah, Nemo. I mean, I guess overall, you're down 30 pounds at this point. You've already mentioned you're doing a 8K.
Yeah, 8K.
8K here next week. What's coming after that? What's the goal? Right now, you're weighing
247.
247. So next time we have another episode, let's say, I don't know, 6 months.
Yeah. The finish line for me right now, bro, is a 6-pack. You know?
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Single digit body fat.
Yeah. Is that what it takes?
I mean, maybe 10.
I don't even know what it takes, but I just know that's where I'm going. You know, I don't even know what body fat you have to be at or nothing. I just have to know. I'll figure it out though.
Damn, 6-pack. Okay, so you're how much?
247.
247. Let's say, because you got some good muscle on you, so let's say maybe like in the low 200s you might be able to see the 6-pack.
Oh, really?
I would assume.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty built, so let's say maybe 210, potentially 215.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's always been a goal of mine, and I'm just like that. I'm to the point where I'm so mentally focused and locked in that I know I have to keep setting a goal and then another goal and then another goal. But that's the goal right now. I mean, I'm not sure if it's gonna take 6 months, a year, 2 years, but
whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
I know you will make it happen. I mean, seeing kind of the way you went about these last 8 weeks, I know you will make it happen. When you do, I think we're gonna have to run this back and, hey man, you went from here to here, but how the hell did you go from here to a 6-pack?
Yeah.
That's a complete different challenge right there, you know? So how are you gonna do it as far as kind of staying locked in for that that much time. I mean, that's
I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing I've been doing. You know, I mean, the last maybe just take one rest day, but even then, I'll make it like an active rest day, like a fun day. Go outside, run around, go hiking or something, something fun. But just staying consistent, bro. I think because if I don't keep following the plan that I'm on now, I'm just gonna go right back to where I was. You know, I'm going back to being 277 pounds, if not heavier, not being happy. Everything else starts falling apart, and it's happened to me before. You know, I've been on the right path, and then I take my foot off the pedal, or just I take my eye off the prize, and I slowly start going backwards. You know, and I feel like in this life, bro, you're either going backwards or you're going forward. You know, there's no I'm gonna stay right here.
damn.
You know, so you got to keep taking steps forward or you're going backwards. There's no in the middle.
That's 100% it, man, and that's law. That's literally just like the law of gravity.
Yeah.
It's funny how you touch on that because I recently came across something that has been very powerful, and it's exactly that. Like you said, there's no auto mode. There's this thing called the law of entropy. Law of entropy states that whatever is left to itself naturally moves towards disorder. There's nothing that just stays still in place. So, for example, this guy in particular is a great speaker, one of my favorite speakers. His name is Myron Golden. He said that you don't have to choose to be broke. You just have to choose to not be rich.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's either forward or backwards, period. I mean, even if you think your money's maintaining, your salary stays the same, my money in my account staying the same, inflation, the way everything's going, your money's going to be worth less in 10 years. Yeah. You don't have to choose to be weak. All you have to do is choose not to be strong. That's it. Yeah. It's that simple. Like it's pretty scary to think about. If you don't choose better, you're choosing worse, period. You're not choosing maintaining. So when you put it that way, it's like it's really fucking scary. And how could you not choose the better version of you to get rich, to get stronger, all these things? Because for one, it keeps you from going to the alternative, which I'm sure nobody ever wants to do. I never heard somebody say, I want to grow up to be weak. I want to grow up to be broke. I've never heard anybody say that. And ultimately, I mean, it just moves you towards things that I think would be considered as blessings. So I got the fear of what the alternative is pushing me away from going backwards, and I got the excitement of what could be and my potential and whatever aspect I may see pulling me forward. So like when you process, at least for me, when I process it that way, it's a no-brainer. I got to get up and I got to go. It's not a matter of maintaining, because maintaining is really going back, like you said. So I love that you touched on that, man, because that's completely true.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I think once you start, like you said, I mean, fitness is super important, bro, because once you start getting your fitness in line, I feel like everything else just follows. You know, your relationship with right now, my relationship with my wife is the best it's ever been. The relationship with my sister, my brother, my kids, you know, this is the best our relationship has ever been. And at work, you know, this is one of the best positions I've ever been in. Everything else is just crazy how everything's perfect, you know. And and it's also crazy that all it takes is one bad decision or one unconscious decision to start the trend backwards. You know, one night out with the buddies and you're drinking and driving and you kill somebody, or one night out and you're eating pizza and then you're like, oh well, I had pizza yesterday, I'll just eat it today.
Yeah.
And I'm right back. I'm gonna eat pizza today, I'm gonna fuck off today, but Monday I'm right back in the saddle, you know. But
yeah, that's crazy. It's a slippery slope, man. Damn, that's crazy. So did you get promotions throughout these last couple weeks at work?
No, I honestly, I mean, they're probably gonna see this shit, bro, but I honestly feels like I'm retired, you know, like I just
you know what? You are. Get out of here.
And a lot of people at work, some people struggle, you know, and that to me is just so easy, you know. It's just so easy to do what I do, and I'm like, damn, now I need to find something that's harder. But then I'm just like, I'm not 100% a master, but I'm pretty close, I would say.
I was gonna say maybe it's not that you're retired. Maybe you just mastered it. I mean, how long have you been doing what you're doing?
Like 11 years now.
I say it takes 10 years. I mean, they say it's specific more like amount of hours instead of years, but 10 years, I'm sure you got those hours. I'm 100%
on board. But when somebody tells me they've been doing something for 10 years, I'm like, oh, you're a pro.
Yes.
Whatever it is, you know, whatever it is that you do, if you do it for 10 years, you're a pro.
Yeah, damn. I mean, so it's more like you got it mastered, I would say, you know, instead of like not that you're kicking your feet back and not doing anything.
Yeah,
it just becomes so natural to you.
Yeah, the grind just becomes it's just what I'm used to. You know, anything else would feel weird. Any slowing down or going backwards or not doing what I do every single day, then that's when it feels weird. Not going as hard as I do.
Yeah, it's like there's the frequency that you just managed to be on. Yeah, it's funny because another thing that I also recently listened to is funny. I don't know if maybe it's just coincidental that you're bringing these things up and they're kind of just coming to my mind or what. But somebody said that ultimately the way of feeling fulfilled is the trajectory that we're on. You know, so if you start off, let's say, as a busser somewhere and you get a promotion to a cook, I mean, just that little jump there, regardless of how big that milestone may be to somebody else, but just in your mind, yeah, I was a busser last week. Like, you feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, you went from the weight that you started at to where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And like you said, you still want a six-pack ass, but you feel amazing just because your trajectory is on the up and up.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter that you're not Mr. Olympia or you don't have the six-pack yet. You know, let's say, for example, me, like, I could have been, I don't know, let's say 7% body fat, and now I'm 11% body fat. I might feel like shit because I was at a higher standard in my mind. So it doesn't even matter what the next person, you know, is doing or getting. Ultimately, if we're on a good trajectory in our lives, you're gonna be feeling good. If you're on a downward trajectory, you're gonna be feeling like shit.
Yeah.
You had $100,000 saved, now you have 50. You feel broke, and somebody else might be like, "Bro, you're solid. Like, I got 2,000 in my bank."
Yeah.
But no, in your mind that sounds good because that's more than two.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I had 100,000 last month. Like, you know, that's just, you feel like shit.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that 2,000 goes to 10,000 for somebody else. They feel great in your mind. Like, bro, it's only $10,000. You know, what I'm trying to say is, like, ultimately, it's just the trajectory that we're on. Which direction are you going? Are you going up or are you going down?
I'm going up, bro.
Yeah, but Francisco, I mean, I think we got a good hour on here or so. I know we took a couple takes, but like I said, we at least got a good amount of a good hour of you know, content on this. But anything that you kind of want to leave off, somebody who is maybe, we'll highlight the mental aspect, because I think if they start with the mental aspect, the physical will eventually catch up to that. Anybody who may be struggling mentally, who's just maybe undisciplined, who feels like their mind just keeps getting the best of them, their circumstances keep getting the best of them, whether if it's, like you said, the crowd, the foods. I mean, what would you kind of maybe say that they can do, or something that maybe has helped you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was me for the longest time. You know, I feel like for me, I was just so focused on the end result. I was so focused on being skinny. I was so focused on being buff. I was so focused on, you know, being looked at a certain way, that it became like this big giant weight that I was trying to move, where I just broke it all down. You know, I just take it one day at a time. So as long as you do everything right one day at a time, you're going to get to wherever you want to get to. I think once you break it down to that, in that aspect, everything gets a lot easier. You know, I can't promise I'm going to do everything right tomorrow, but today I'm going to do everything right. And then I can't promise I'm going to do everything right next week, but today I'm going to do everything right, just one day at a time.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. I've recently, not recently, it's actually a while back, I heard a story of, or maybe it's like a little fable, where somebody was like trying to move this big boulder. I'm sure you may have heard of it too. And this guy just every day just goes to push it, and he can never budge. It never budges. And just do it every single day, even though it never budged. And eventually, it got to a point where that constant pushing, even though it would never move, it built enough strength because of all the resistance that was applied on him, to where he got strong enough to eventually where he was able to push it. So even though, like you said in the beginning, you might be slipping up, but it's the efforts that eventually build up maybe that mental strength to where now all of a sudden you're doing it no problem. You take off the training wheels, next thing you know, you're a master, like you are at work. You know, I'm sure you probably can relate. When you first started your job, you didn't do it as easy as you're doing it today, right?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you see somebody doing something and they make it look really easy and they're really good at it, I guarantee if you ask them, you know, why is it so easy, or what do you have to do to make it look so easy, they're all going to tell you the same. You know, it's just repetitive, year after years after years after years of doing it, and that's how you get to where you want to get.
It's just that daily grinding, getting the reps in, man, and ultimately, I think if one focuses on that, that's something that helps me. Like, my day-to-days look the same, but the progress is different.
Yeah. I
get excited for the little amount of progress, because I know if this little amount of progress compounds over the next year, 2 years, that's a pretty picture, you know. Like, I'm excited to see that. The only way I can see that is by staying consistent every single day. So, like you said, either we're compounding on an upward trajectory or we're compounding on a downward trajectory. And I definitely want to see how high this thing can go.
Yeah.
And I want to see how high you'll take it here.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we'll touch base in August. Maybe we'll run it back here. You might even be sitting here shirtless, just flexing some old abs, man. Six pack.
If I get a six pack, bro, I'm for sure gonna be in here shirtless. Bro. I guarantee you that.
You'll be everywhere shirtless,
everywhere,
huh?
bro. At the grocery store, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, damn. All right, you guys. Well, hopefully you guys got some value from this. Shout out once again to Francisco, man, for having a hell of a transformation. Very inspiring. I'm sure a lot of you guys who may have sent me messages in regard to the transformation, Hopefully, got some value out of his tips and tricks that he's kind of been on, and just his mindset overall. And yeah, we'll touch base on in August, and we'll hold him accountable to that 6-pack.
Yeah, and I heard it. I heard that you're gonna do another challenge, so I want to keep
snap,
keep it going, bro. So I'm in it, bro.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just he's reinvesting the profits.
Yeah.
It's not even a loss anymore. For sure. Well, for you guys, better bring your A game. If we do run another challenge here before this upcoming holidays, definitely make some room for the pumpkin pie. So you guys better bring your A game because you guys are going against a real winner right here. So let's make it happen.
Let's do this.
All right, catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.